Hey, good afternoon. I am back. I wasn't actually going to finish this today, but I came back here to to look at it and decided I wanted to do some more. So what I have done that you missed was I added just very lightly with my Sharpie light pencil. I did add some of these seagrasses in here just to give me an idea where they're going to go. Then I did come in with some yellow in here. This was totally dry, but I did come back in with some yellow, and I'm going back over this. And I know there's kind of like a halo there, but I kind of want that because the light kind of comes across the sun like that. I'm using a smaller brush, Sable, number 2, Legend Sable Company from Germany. And anyway, that's neither here nor there. I am going to wet some of this up in here. Like I say, this is dry. I'm just going to wet it just lightly with my number 2 brush here, because I don't want to overdo this. I really don't. This is the stage where it's very easy for me to come in and just absolutely destroy what I've already done. And I don't want to do that. I'm going to come in here and take some of this lavender, this purple, and some of this rose that I had earlier, and just touch this in here. Now, because it's dry, it's almost like a dry brush here. Look at that on the page, which is nice for the sky and clouds, just to kind of give you that streaky look in the sky. I may add more water if I just see how I'm feeling. You know, this is just kind of a as you go thing. So I am coming back and adding some color to my sky here, and I like that. And I don't, like I said, I don't want a whole lot. I don't want to overwhelm this, because I did like the base that I had on there. I am going to leave some of this dry brush up in there. Some of my colors combine down in here. And I like the little bit of the streaky marks in here, because that's actually the way the sun is coming across the sky. So that's kind of appropriate. Have this little bit of yellow and orange. Just kind of let that move around a little bit up into this pink. If you recall, I used the Opera Rose and some violet. I want to kind of come down here in the water. That's all I'm going to do for that right now. And I know there's like a little, almost like a little rim around the sun, but that's actually how it does look. So I'm going to leave that. Come down in here into my water. I like this turquoise. And so the water, it is evening. So the water is not super dark yet, but it's not real sparkly light either. Just kind of come back over. This is what I was telling you I was doing the other day with the one that I did from the Florida Keys. After I let it dry, I came back in with areas and just lightly came in and streaked over, or spotted over, glazed over, layered, whatever you want to call it, over the previous area. So it gives it kind of that watery texture, depth, appearance. Add a little bit of water to that. I'm going to leave that there. If you hear parakeets, that's because my studio accompanies my daughter's room, and she has a parakeet in there. And there's my sunshine coming down. I don't want to lose that brilliance though. I'll lift some of that up. But I do want some of that, a little bit of that reflection down in here. Okay, now to my grasses. I'm going to leave my water alone for the moment. Like I was telling you before, these grasses is kind of like a sand dune in the sand. The sand is kind of white colored. Actually, it does have a little bit of blue in it because of the evening. So I'm going to come down and just kind of let some of this that was already there soften and come down into my sand. But what I want to do is focus on my grasses. Let me add a little bit more of this turquoise in this water. One of the fun things about, actually I said before the ocean, this is not the ocean. This is St. Petersburg. This is the Gulf of Mexico. And the sand is white and the water is just really soft and gorgeous and blue. Bring some of this little tiny bit of this blue reflection down into the sand. And then I'm going to come in and get some of the grasses. The grasses themselves are not necessarily green. In fact, there's more of this darker brownish tone to them. Some darks in here, shadows from the grass. Put that in. As you can see, my colors that I did earlier did dry so much lighter. We do have some clumps of grasses coming up in here. So as I come over these initial colors that I put in, I can darken that very easily without disturbing it. And I can use just kind of the tip of my brush here to bring in some of these other colors. And like I say, I did put some of these in with ink. Get a little bit of gold in there. It's not really a tree, so I don't want to do that appearance. But they are clumps, heavy clumps of grasses coming out in these sand dunes. So you are going to see some of the I'm sorry, I'm trying to think and paint at the same time. See some of the sand as you're looking through. And some of it is going to overlap into the water. I'm not just using green, I am adding some yellow to this too. But in the picture, these grasses do come up and over and into the sky from the vantage point of whomever took the picture. So it's just you're walking along that path and approaching the beach. Let me add some of this purple to it. My purple and my green make a nice neutral for these grasses. you know, if you think that looks too purple, it's watercolor. Just give it a minute, it'll dry. I'm not real crazy about this right here because looks more like a tree than individual leaves. So I'm going to take my handy dandy damp brush and get rid of some of that. That's the nice thing about watercolor. You can do that. I need to focus more in on this area and the darks down here. This color is much darker. Now I have wet this, so I actually need a sharper point than this one. Trying to really lightly come in. These shadows and these plants that they're coming from are darker over here. And they're not really green. It's not green, not really green grass. Come in here and let's get some of these grasses coming up this way. I will add some, like I say, as you're walking up the path, these grasses are going to come up. Got some orange here. Let me kind of increase the colors in this so we can see it a little better. Trying to stay with the very tip because I do want these smaller and not real thick. They're thicker down here, then they're going to come up. You know, this is a stage where you might be saying, oh my gosh, she's ruining this. And, you know, I might be, but you don't know. They also say there's always a part where you have an ugly stage. And, you know, this might be my ugly stage. If it stays ugly, then, well, it stays ugly. Try to get these coming up from here. And when it does dry, it will look different. Let me get into some of this goldish brown that I made with the mic green and a little bit of this other orange. That's a nice dark. Come back in here with some of this Naturno. And this will represent our, see, this is already changing color over here. Represent where our grasses are. Little clumps of grasses are growing as we come down to the beach. And where the little stickers are, we're gonna get into our feet. And then we'll spend some time at the beach trying to get the stickers out of our feet. Just gonna come back in and just, now I did say that some of this area is white sand, and true to form, I didn't really leave as much white sand as I need. Yeah, I'm going to try to lift some of this as well. Give it kind of a scruffy appearance with my leaves, with my grasses coming up. can probably just kind of come in here with some of this, with the tip. It's kind of scruffy. Just see how the brush kind of spreads out a little bit. Well, I'm barely touching it, so it gives it more of a grassy appearance as it's coming up. A little bit more here. And it's coming from this bush down here, so I do want to come back in here and strengthen that a little bit. And like I say, this will dry. It'll dry lighter. And let's get some scruffy dry marks here. Just to kind of give it more of that organic appearance. I do have some white in there, but this is also where the bushes are. So I don't want to cover all that up. But I don't want to forget that I have my beach there also. That's pretty. I'm going to go back in just a touch and highlight just this little area right here of my sunshine. So it was coming across there really pretty as the sun goes down. So just kind of dab that back in there and come back over to my horizon a little bit and bring some of that down into my water again. I don't want to lose my water horizon, so I am going to come in with that. A bit of a glare on it, so let me pick this up so I can see better. Add a little bit of orange there. This sun was really brilliant, and it is coming down into the water. So we don't want to lose that. But I also don't want the pencil marks. Bring my orange down into my water a little bit. And I think that's what I think I'm going to stop. Just leave some of these brushy areas. I did want to show you though before I leave. This is going to be my finished thing, I believe. I might bring, oops, some lighter colors back down into here just to lighten this up a little bit. I've already got some blue in there, so I'm coming in with a little bit of green at the base of my plants. I don't mean green, I mean yellow. It's going to make it look green. Even though they're not totally green, they are kind of brown, and that helps to bring out some of the light there from the beach. And then this is the area where we're walking. I'm gonna add just a little bit of yellow in here and let that blend in here. This is where we're walking up into the beach, into the water. But I do want that line there where my water is. So there's my little beach scene. I like that. I wanted to show you, I was talking the other day, if you watched my video on the Florida Keys video, what I finished up with for my granddaughter. This is one where I was working on the water textures, and I did go back over similarly to what I did on this after it dried, and then just added some depth. And I did add some ink in with the boat. And then I also did this one. I actually kind of like the water better in this, the way this one is very irregular. This one, I think I was kind of maybe thinking too much. Or I kind of like this one, the irregularity in the water. And this is a pretty sky. And then there was my boat. You can see the little people on the boat. So I'm going to show these to her and let her choose which one she wants. This one has more clouds, a little more sun reflection and trees. This actually was, this was a practice piece. And it came out well, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I just need to leave that alone. So I left it alone. And then I did try to do this one, and I may have been thinking too much. I don't know. So I'm just going to show my granddaughter both of them and let her choose. But in the meantime, here's my trip to Pass-a-Grille Beach. I think it came out pretty nicely. Thank you for watching and subscribing and following me, Pam with Follow Your Brush. This was the continuation of my trip to Pass-a-Grille Beach at night, which is a lovely place to go. And if you live in St. Petersburg, I recommend it. So talk to you later. And thanks again for watching and subscribing. I'll see you here next time on Follow Your Brush. And also on Facebook, Follow Your Brush group is available for those of you that wish to join me there as well. Thank you so much. Bye.